Hello, welcome friends and fans of FOF. We are back for game 3 of the day between Rex Regalis and Gorilla Muffins. One team that is on a hyper streak, getting as many wins as possible. The King Joshi himself being the caster god, leading his team to constant victories, 8-2, and Gorilla Muffins, who has been struggling to find their own wins. But I'm joined today by RLS War Leader, who's coming off a tough loss. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing okay. I'm not taking it too hard, and let's get into this game. We're gonna see Gorilla Muffins taking away the Joshi Classic, Nar and Orn. When Joshi gets those really impactful team fighting ultimates, the game just ends. So really good by Gorilla Muffins to take it away. Meanwhile, Rex Regalis is going to be taking away the Mordekaiser, the Malzahar, and the Draven.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, with this particular matchup, if we're going to get into a little bit of the player dynamics, I'm really hyped to see Zenzen versus Neko. Other than the fact that these two have been kind of the stars of their team, the main focal point. Other than Joshi, they play heavy topside. Zenzen is really big in how much damage he puts out, even if he's not getting as much assistance from Rafa. How do you feel the specific mid lane match between Zenzen and Neko?
I think Neko is a lot more to Gorilla Muffins, but I think Zenzen's the better mid laner. But I really just want to highlight we know what kind of game it is because we've got the insta-lock Blue 1 Yuumi, which tells you that this is going to be a very interesting game from the side of Rex Regalis. I believe this is the first Yuumi that we've seen this season in FOF.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you credit, man, because you said interesting. In the first three letters of interest is our INT, and we'll see who's gonna be inting. Hopefully, the cat will find herself in the grave as much as often as possible. No one's a big fan of Yumi bouncing around. Is the lowest skill champion in the game. While Doctor is gonna be taking it, gonna show off some heavy Yumi mechanics. But the old combo, this FOS brought this out before this was even in the LCS actually last season. The Ziggs Leona is really hyper scaling, not really too strong early, but the lockdown Leona provides can allow that bomb to do massive amounts of damage. So I do like Gorilla Muffins going with something simpler than usual.
Yep, and then Rex Regalis is instantly going to pick up two champions to complement Yuumi really well. Olaf, with his immunity to CC, gives just Yuumi the perfect host to grant attack speed and movement speed too, and Olaf's going to be running all across the back line. Tristana, also a very aggressive champion that can utilize the stats that Yuumi gives, both to protect the Yuumi, keep her safe, jumping out of these fights, while also being able to jump into these fights and do a lot. A Mumu pickup by Gorilla Muffins here. Red side pick 3 is going to be for Pure Llama. And as we move into ban phase 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Tons of CC already selected up from Gorilla Muffins. It gets less value because of the Olaf and the Yuumi, who are relatively invulnerable to CC generally, but I do like them picking a heavy amount of CC in their first selection, because more than likely the carriers are going to be coming out in the second round if that Ziggs isn't going to be headed into the bot lane, which I do expect Necker to be the one piloting that. But what do you think about Rex Regalis' options in moving into solo lanes? Because they have kind of a significantly deeper champion pool. Do you think they're going to get spicier, stick it to more of a standard role?
It's really hard to say because the Yuumi pick is a huge curveball, but they immediately tried to complement it. And so we can really see him going either way, just pulling out random stuff they feel like flying today, or really trying to build a comp around this cat. Either way, I really like what Rex Regalis is doing so far. Gorilla Muffins drafts a lot of good CC and disengage, but it doesn't matter when there's an Olaf there who's just immune to it all, empowered by a Yuumi just destroying your Ziggs and destroying whatever AD carry you happen to pick. I'm really interested to see what's going to come out in these solo lanes. I actually think the Ziggs is probably going to go bot, although I'm sure that Neko is probably a really good Ziggs player. We've seen her play a lot of good artillery mages in the mid lane, so wouldn't be too surprised if that's just a true flex pick. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what these solo lanes are going to be. If I had to guess, I think Joshi is going to be on some really solid engage for the team, and then Zenzen's probably just going to be another damage source, probably something magic.
Yep, absolutely. And the Neko special coming out with the Lissandra heavy CC, basically CC on all the champions not named Zig, but a really extreme amount of magic damage that they selected. There's no AD threat at the moment, so they're gonna need to have something that's gonna provide a lot of AD damage if this Ziggs is gonna be headed somewhere else, because Lissandra can still head in the top lane. Bacon Pancakes could pilot it, but Olaf is someone who can stack magic resist quite heavily. He would love to be able to get those really efficient magic resist items. So I do expect some more AD threat coming out from the side of Gorilla Muffin.
Yeah, and I was talking about how Joshi was going to be playing on some reliable engage, and there's few better reliable engages than Kled speeding up your entire team, finding a target and CCing them, and then we're probably going to see Zenzen on a consistent AP damage source like the Syndra. So I actually really like this composition that Rex Regalis has put together, and while I like we'll have to see what the last pick from Gorilla Muffins is, but it's very AP heavy, magic damage heavy, and a lot of the CC they've drafted gets pretty heavily countered by the composition that Rex has opted into. But as far as a comp, I think it can work. But we'll have to see what this last pick is in the next few seconds. And it's actually going to be an Urgot matching
Yeah, this
into
is Bacon
Joshi's Kled.
Pancake's favorite champion.
Yeah, so we'll have to see how that matchup goes. Should be really interesting up in the top side. I'm really worried about Gorilla Muffins. Their team just seems so CC reliant, and it seems like that the Olaf and the Kled are just going to be able to spec into some magic resist and be pretty much safe from all the damage that Gorilla Muffins is putting out. So I'm really excited to see this Yumi empower Rex Regalis to victory here.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think the main concern is that there's not a lot of damage. There's not any really consistent damage coming out. While Ziggs can do a bunch of damage, it's usually on targets that are immobilized. But with Olaf running at him, being able to get complete threat on him without having any real significant pressure that will come out provide from his team, is really concerning. None of these champions are good into Olaf. Kled is unstoppable while he's ulting, and his E is very difficult to disrupt. So I think Rex Regalis has done a magnificent job countering a composition that's kind of slightly too heavily indexed into one nature, and there's not really a flex. There's not really a change Gorilla Muffins can do. It's basically win team fights or nothing. They don't really have a heavy split push or any other avenue to win.
Yeah, and with the Amumu in the jungle into the Olaf, it's going to be nearly impossible to put the Olaf behind in the early game. Olaf's probably going to be able to do whatever he wants to do in the jungle, and so this main piece that's frustrating for your composition to deal with can't even be really shut down before they get going because of the nature of the champion and the nature of Amumu in the jungle. So yeah, I'm really struggling to see what Gorilla Muffins could do. Maybe like an early invade just to try and get the Olaf behind, maybe take advantage of some of the lackluster level 1s, but I don't think their level 1s are much better.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, since we are about to get into the match, we have the angry dinosaur Rex Regalis versus our e-girl residents, Gorilla Muffins, and I cannot wait to see how this game is going to transpire. Let's see if the lower tier team Gorilla is able to pick up a big victory, because this would be massive for them if they can get a huge momentum swing into a team that's been kind of styling on everyone, hasn't really suffered any ankle breaker defeats at the moment. So this would be a massive win if Gorilla is able to take it.
For sure, and I'm really interested to see this level 1. Pure Llama's going to scout out the invade by Rex. It's actually going to be Rex going for the invade. And one thing I'm noticing is that Gorilla Muffins is not responding with a counter invade for Vision, so Rex actually get this Vision off completely free. As I say that, Bacon Pancakes looks like they're going to go grab a ward onto the enemy blue buff, so I'm glad there was a response. But yeah, I think that if Gorilla Muffins want to win this game, they're going to have to get scrappy, and they're going to have to play these fights really well. I think compositionally, when you get into these 5v5 fights, it can be really hard because Olaf with a Yumi on top is going to do so much, and you're not going to be able to stop the Olaf.
Absolutely, and just an intro for the audience. We do have a change from Rex Regalis and what we typically send. Zenzen is going to be the one piloting that Kled in the top lane, their usual mid laner, and Joshi will be in the mid lane piloting the Syndra. So the solo lanes are swapping it up, having Joshi have his mid lane performance. Going to be his first one on a really safe high damage AP mage. Something I do expect a top laner to be able to play. Syndra is not the most difficult champion in the world to able to execute. So Rex Regalis styling a bit in draft, trying to show a different flavor.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how this goes as the game goes on. I can speak from my own personal experience that I know that Zen is a pretty nasty Kled. Seen it previously in the mid lane, so seeing pulling out the top lane is not a surprise. But Joshi on the Cinder is definitely something we're going to have to watch and see how he adjusts to the new role, because I don't think Cinder's like any of the other champions that we've seen him play top lane.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little bit of concern as why, Doctor's going to take a bit of damage because he is going to hit level 2 off this next minion in the mid lane. The camera panned away, but then Joshi got the ward kill, level 1, which should let you hit level 1, 2 off the first wave if you're a solo laner. So it looks like the Neko isn't going to take a bad trade into it. Hopefully that was communicated on the side of GURL and Muffins because that can be quite tilting if you die to that.
For sure. Yeah, so looking at the junglers so far, they've both opted to full clear into their top sides. Olaf is a little farther ahead on the clear, having already completed the Raptors, while Amumu is just now getting to Gromp. So it looks like Amumu is going to do a 5-camp clear. Olaf will probably also opt a 5-camp clear, and then they're both going to move into the bottom river.
Absolutely, and just to make sure everyone knows, we do have the predictions in at the moment, as this is going to be a little bit of an all-in, as Alkbatter is going to be forced to dash away, but 91% of our FOF fan base has said FOF will take it, and 9% for Team GURL, so the heavy favors is quite out as Joshi's going to hairball a stun real quick on camera.
Yep. And so far in the mid lane, we're actually seeing Joshi take a pretty significant CS lead for how early it is in the game. Really solid laning play for him this far.
Yeah, this is something that's been pretty typical of Neko's performance. While she does teamfight quite well, her CSing in lane can sometimes suffer when she is being pressured by someone who's playing quite aggressively, so that is something that is going to need to be picked up, because Lissandra does need a lot of gold to be a damage threat, as she is not the most bursty champion in the game. She does need those her AP ratios aren't the highest, so it's necessary for her to pick up some early gold.
Yeah, small jungle interaction that I was a little surprised to see is that because Amumu opted for a 5-camp clear and Rafa's Olaf opted for a 6-camp clear, it's actually going to be Pure Llama's Amumu that gets to the Scuttle Crab first and takes it down despite not having bot or mid priority for it. So really good by Pure Llama to be able to pick that up. It's going to be a little scuffle for the top crab, but Pure Llama shouldn't be able to really do anything about that. Both top laners moving towards it, and Zen's going to go in.
Yeah, Rafa is going to get him. Pure Llama's going to be forced to flash out, so a disadvantage trade, but Zenzin's going to take a bunch of damage onto the Urgot. And Tyson Bacon Pancake smashing him in that early trade. Kled being dismounted this early is really big. He's going to need to try to get those passive stack back up so he can get that HP back.
Yeah, and especially into a ranged top laner, Bacon Pancakes has the opportunity to make it hard for him. But speaking of make it hard for him, Rafa's doing exactly what you should do into an Amumu and punish his weak early game by just using Olaf's really strong early game and bullying him away from his camps. Neko's going to have to leave lane to help him out, and now she's out of mana.
Yeah, that is really, really punishing for Lissandra. Teleport is still available, but if Pure Llama doesn't come to that mid lane and help her get a safe push out, she's going to get a disadvantageous recall, and that CS advantage is only going to be exacerbated as it's almost to 2 waves at this point already. And it looks like the closest where the person in most danger is going to be Zenzen, who is going to get his remount in just a bit. Oh, that's really unlucky. He's not going to get it before that wave is pushed all the way in, but he does get a safe reset.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter too much because just knocks the wave into the turret, gets a nice recall. Pure Llama's going to visit the top side, find anything, and then Bacon Pancakes and Pure Llama are going to take resets themselves. Just looking across the lanes so far, we've been seeing that Rex, aside from the top side, have just been getting significant CS advantages in their lanes for how early it is. I really just want to give props. Oh, as we see a little scuffle, but it shouldn't be much here.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage, and Black Venom is going to be getting forced away, but really smart on the side of Nekar getting that package down onto the Yumu, not allowing her to jump back, and then Yumi is really low HP also, so if another trade like that is to land, this could be an all-in angle. Ignite is available for Ziggs that could prevent that healing, so it's something to be concerned about as Alk Battery it has basically been doing nothing but shoving in this early game.
Yeah, and because of that, they're should be rewarded with this dragon. So much pressure bot lane means that Rex are the first ones to get to the Drake, and all 3 members of the bottom side of the map are there. But Joshi's still in base and has Cleanse instead of Teleport. So if Neko comes down to this, oh, but they don't have mana. on the Lissandra, so they're probably not very fightable. Pure Llama's going to look for the steal but not find anything. Neko's going to collapse onto the fight, and it's going to be Rafa that gets found. Why, you know, Doctor's in a lot of trouble. Black Venom interrupts the dash from Yuumi to try and get to safety, and that's actually going to be a nice 2-0 find for GURL.
Actually, you go ahead, man. Do my job for me. Jesus, that was a really kind of egregious play from Rex Regalis. Your mid laners in base, no teleporter about trying to go for that dragon. I'm happy that they got punished for that because that is really disrespectful to try to do that with a 4v3 on the map.
Yeah, for sure. And I was definitely worried about the Lissandra not having mana, but has just enough, and more of just being a sack of HP with auto attacks and being able to throw out 1Q or 1W is enough disruption to stop Rex from safely disengaging. So really well played by GURL, very good reactive play. Couldn't quite find the steal, but the follow-up is there. And as a result, they're going to find themselves about 600 gold up on Rex in this early game. But Rex have an Ocean Drake.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is really important to stack up those dragons because that is going to be Regalis' win condition in the mid game. But honestly, people forget that a lot of Lissandra's damage is into that passive, and the zombies coming out and exploding on multiple targets is really big. So, Riot loves their resets, and Lissandra is another one that does have some form of it. As a bunch of damage is going to be on Rafa, and Black Venom is here, and the Zenith Blade is going to go to Africa, but that's going to let Rafa walk it out.
Yeah, if that was a prediction to step back, it was a little wide, so a little awkward. But either way, the most that you blow there is the Ragnarok from Olaf, and that's not too big of a cooldown, so not too much lost there.
Clearly, Ragnarok is quite a low cooldown at this point in the game. There's actually probably no way that they could have gotten an all-in at that point. And these lanes are going, I would say, relatively well for Team GURL. They're not super far behind in any other lane other than this mid lane. Only TNTS in that one. So while Zenzen is on this Kled, generally supposed to be a lane bully power pick, Urgot has done a significantly good job maintaining a good CS advantage. And honestly, he probably has all-in threat for at least a little bit longer. So well done on the side of Bacon Pancakes and Team GURL for, stabilizing lanes that can be relatively difficult.
Yeah, for sure. And we're actually seeing a joint play from the solo laners to establish some. Well, I thought they were establishing some topside vision, but I guess they just took a visit to the Rift Herald. But both junglers are now moving into this bottom side, and they're going to find each other. Mumu shouldn't be able to do anything there. Should just walk away.
That will not be a close fight onto an Olaf. But here's the all-in, and the stun is going to be just long enough to prevent Neko from getting that reactivation.
Yeah, but here comes Pure Llama for the follow-up flash bandage toss.
That's an ultimate still there, and Joshi's taking a punch down, forced to flash away. Q is not going to land. 2 Qs shot and 0 landed. So that is going to be Joshi being forced to flash out. This is a heavy kill lane, so the threat is still going to be there for quite a bit of time as long as Syndra doesn't have that.
Yeah, missing those summoner spells. Missing those summoner spells is going to be
frozen.
Oh, it's so close. Oh.
Jeez, what a bad time to freeze for Frozen, and we missed half the all-in. As Neko walking away off the skin of her teeth, not giving over a solo kill, but extremely low HP, and forced to back away, but still has teleport available. And now this Rafa is going to be looking into the bot side as the ultimate is going to land from the Yuumi. The root is there. Ziggs is rooted up and is going to be forced to get it away as fast as possible. Ragnarok is here. Necker is going to be the first one to drop in. Black Venom is going to follow. Too many people are dying. Bacon Pancakes is forced to teleport in, but is going to have to run with all those legs and just enough to escape. As now the dive, Zenzen's here. Dive is here. Bacon Pancakes is far away from the tower. Is not going to get any support. The Pure Llama is also going to be getting in a Q, but is not going to provide much as the Urgot is already dead. And that is the Mumu who's going to be dying also. So 4 kills picked up in this bot side play.
And now we're seeing exactly what Rex's comp is designed to do. You have a solar flare, don't care. You have a satchel, don't care. You have the curse of the sad mummy, don't care. Rafa's going to walk right up to you, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. Then Zenzen teleports in for the second phase of the fight, using his ultimate to get his entire team under the tower to secure 2 more kills.
Yeah, absolutely. Gorilla Muffins did maintain their team play. Everyone decided that they were going to go die in one after the other. If we're going to die, we're going to all die together, and that's something we all can respect. Unfortunate bot side play at the moment. That does open up a 20 CS lead also for the side of the Tristana, who got a very, very safe recall. So Alkbatter is going to be very happy about that. And that card not having flash for a significant amount of time is also going to be quite punishing, as this Ziggs is an extremely vulnerable target to an Olaf.
For sure. Normally, Ziggs is somewhat safe because there's so much disengage that you usually draft with Ziggs, and you can keep Ziggs so far back. Plus, you can usually use the satchel for some disruption. But against Olaf, you're not able to disrupt him. He's just going to run at you, and if you're the Ziggs, you only have a very small amount of mobility to get away, which is part of why this composition from Rex is beautiful. Nekar going to look for the steal and not quite find it.
Yeah, a bunch of champions very good into hard CC. Very smart of them to do so, as Neko is going to take a bit of damage, not going to suffer too much, as Bacon Pancakes is still doing quite well into this lane. Zinzin has not been able to punish him with a solo kill or any significant advantage other than that TP debacle that just occurred. But now Black Venom snuck into this back bush. I don't believe they know he's there. It looks like they're pinging him though, so he is going to be found out. There's a pink ward on him. He's going to be forced to walk away. But Alkbatter is scared to jump in, not wanting himself to get CC chained, so that's going to allow him to get away quite safely.
Yeah, we're seeing why Tristana Yumi can work so well, especially into something that doesn't really have a lot of engage potential. But speaking of engage potential, Joshi finds a Scatter the Weak stun, but no engage offer.
Yeah, this is Joshi's consistently getting these good trades. Now CS advantage is expanding. We're at 13 now, so exactly 2 ways at this point. 2 ways plus one. It's something that is not as detrimental as it could be for Lissandra. Lissandra does function quite well when she is slightly behind, provided she's still getting her gold and has her items. But it for the threat that needs to occur, they basically need to be able to burst this Olaf, and at the moment, it's going to be quite a long way away before they're going to have enough AP damage to do so.
For sure, and with the gore drinker that Olaf has in his pocket right now being 4-1, just 14 minutes into the game, it's going to be very hard to take him down. He was the beneficiary of many of the early kills, and that's exactly where you want the gold to go if you're a Rex fan.
Yeah, actually, 2 champions in this game who also disrupt Urgot's ultimate. As now, that is going to be making Pancakes in trouble. Zenzin's going to land the ultimate, a bunch of damage going down onto this Urgot, but Amumu's here. The stuns have landed. That is not going to allow the pullback because Kled has dismounted. Pure Llama's in trouble, and he's going to drop. So 2 people from this side of Gorilla Muffins, and just the interaction I was talking about, where Urgot's ult can be canceled by Kled being dismounted.
Yep, and honestly, it's just a 2v2 that should always go the way of Rex, regardless of where the gold really is, unless it's super significant. Between Urgot and Amumu, there's just not the damage to match Olaf and Kled, and they both have ways to negate a significant amount of the CC that these 2 champions can bring. So, very well played by Zenzen and Rafa to find that pick on the top lane. I'm not sure if Pure Llama should have followed up on it.
Yeah, that was never going to really be a secure finish, especially since you consider that the CC is going to be useless. Plus, your mid lane is getting shoved in at this point, so I'm sure the comms would have been available that Joshi can move first, but they took the fight, went for it. It was a close one in a lot of ways, but it's not close in others, so they've been struggling, and that was not the next fight to take.
For sure. We now see that Rex have nearly a 3,000 gold lead here 15 minutes into the game. We see a pretty significant CS lead with Joshi having about 25 CS advantage over Neko's Lissandra. Top's pretty even. Olaf is quite far ahead of the Amumu, and Bot is also about a 10 CS lead for Alkmaar.
Yeah, absolutely. Only 2,000 gold though, so not the end of the world when it comes to the gold advantage. This is still very comebackable if team fights are executed. Neko is moving down and has teleport available soon, so it looks like the plan is to do something in this bot side, but Black Venom is still very, very low.
Yeah, clearing out the vision potentially for this first Cloud Drake could be the opportunity that girl is looking for, but Black
Oh, he's not
Venom
going to
going to
land.
get
That's going to
engaged
be
on.
jump in all from the Tristana. A bunch of damage onto Black Venom, who's still alive but is now going to die. Alkbatter is going to get the reset and force Nakar to flash away, and he's going to be chased down. Autos are coming through, and the ultimate from Ziggs is there. A bunch of damage piling up. Alkbatter is running away on the side, and now Pure Llamas has taken a bunch of damage and is not going to get the kill off this Olaf. But Alkbatter is caught out, and he is going to be the only one from Team Rex to drop as slightly too aggressive over the top, but he picked up 2 kills for that aggression.
Yeah, really good play from the side of... Oh, but it's not quite over yet.
Oh yeah, Pure Llama is really slow. They need to remember that is a good heavy chase down that can come as Rafa is going to try to break open this first tower.
Yep, Rift Herald coming down. Should be able to get a charge off. Neko shouldn't be able to stop it, but the tower isn't quite going to fall. Overall, we're seeing really well executed team fighting or just skirmishing from Rex, taking advantage of Black Venom stepping a little too far forward. I understand being a Leona, you really just want to hit Zenith Blade and go in, but you're not in a situation, you're not with a laner where that's really going to be the answer. 3 seconds till the dragon spawns, and I don't see a way that girl can contest this.
Yeah, absolutely. That was definitely on the side of not doable for the side of Black Venom. That Leona E is just not enough CC on champions that can completely ignore it. But Rafa's here by himself. A bunch of damage could be provided. Good Amumu ult, going to lock down 2. Rafa is now on the backside trying to get as much damage onto Pure Llama, but that is going to be Rafa, the first one dropping. Big shutdown. A bunch of damage, and that is Pure Llama, who's quickly going to follow. This team fight is now going completely in the side of Rex as Bacon Pancakes is trying to get as much damage as possible. Forced to flash away. Neko is in the back line. Big ultimate and a bunch of damage coming through, but not able to get a reset onto Alk Battery. Now Tristana is still autoing on the backside. Everyone is dying. The Dragon is going to be a second member as everyone is going to be falling from a really good team fighting so far, but you see Bacon Pancakes trying to do it all, but is not going to have enough.
Yeah, so we actually catch a moment where Rafa's at the dragon just a little too early, and without Ragnarok available, is actually going to be found out by a good rotation from multiple members of GURL. So then Rafa gets engaged on, and without the Ragnarok, so much damage and CC comes out from the side of GURL. There's no real way to help the Olaf. And then Kled comes flying in from the side and disrupts a ton of the fight. And Neko finds her way in, gets a pretty big stun off, but her team isn't in a position to follow up. The Ziggs ulti just never comes out, even though there's multiple low targets in the back. It could have been a complete fight changer had that ability actually come out, but in the end, it's going to be Rex that take away this pretty big fight. They're actually going to secure Soul Point for themselves off of it.
Absolutely, landing that Ziggs over top of Lissandro and Bade could have been what the game changer that changes the fight. But now with that Dragon being picked up, this is 3 Drakes at 18 minutes, really fast pace. For the side of Team Rex, they're going to have that soul available at 24 minutes. So they have been doing an extremely good job maintaining control, even though some kills are going over through some slight over-aggression. They maintained their advantage and expanded. It was 2,000 gold lead at 15, and now it's 5,000 at 18. So very fast pace for the side of Rex so far.
Mm-hmm. And for these team fights to work out into GURL's favor, Nekar is going to have to come up pretty big with Mega Inferno Bombs in these future fights. That's the main way that Ziggs can reliably output damage despite not having big CC over the top, which you're not going to find with a lot of the composition that Rex has drafted. So it's important to find these opportunities to throw a Mega Inferno Bomb onto multiple members for the Ziggs to be a reliable damage source.
Absolutely. The farming pace for this Ziggs is also going to be very important, but Tristana does consistently get that range. As she levels up, she will eventually outrange the damage of even Ziggs other than the Megalo Inferno Bomb. So it's really not a lot of easy options. Everyone has cleanse from both these carries on both Joshi and Alk Battery. It's very difficult to find these avenues of engages, but it's going to be up to Black Venom and Pure Llama to do so, as they are going to be the heavy CC carries that are going to be trying to go in and find these fights.
For sure. Rafa is looking to find Black Venom pushed a little too far forward.
Yeah, and that's going to be the Ragnarok pop. Zumi Ultimate's also there. Black Venom is going to find himself into the ground early. Now Nekar is forced to walk away, but there's not enough, as that is the Olaf smacking him down with the axes. And 2 kills for the side of Rex picked up, nice and simple.
Yep. GURL has invested their resource into the top side with the lane gank from Pure Llama, but it looks like that he's going to give up on the play, go back to base, and as a result, it's going to be Rex taking complete control over the map right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Zenzen intelligently setting up a slow push, not putting himself in danger for no reason. Knows that their gank this bot side was successful. No need to do anything aggressive. And frankly, that was one of those plays that kind of needed to work for the side of Team Girl. That's a lot of time and usage as Pure Llama is going to be caught out, taking a bunch of damage. The Sad Mummy is getting even sadder as the autos are coming through, slowed up by the axe, but is going to barely make it out. Good bandage toss onto the minion.
Yep. Even though Pure Llama manages to get out there, we're seeing him bullied off of all of his resources onto the bot side, and it's because so much was invested top side into Zenzen's Kled to no avail, really. Neko, little too far forward against Joshi, but Rafa's
Oh, here
gonna
we
catch
go.
her.
Ultimates is coming through. Neko's forced to alter self. A bunch of damage coming out, and now Neko is going to die to the axe from Rafa. As now Bacon Pancakes is on the side, who's taking a bunch of damage as the ultimate is going to come out, stun up Zenzen and Joshi. A lot of damage coming out, but the ultimate has landed on Zenzen, who's going to now drop off of his mount. Pure Llama being chased away. Ragnarok has popped a bunch of damage. Pure Llama is trying to not die. Alk Batter is going to find that Cleanse is also going to be a bit forced out. But 2 kills once again picked up for Rex, even though that dive kind of went every which way.
Yeah, these fights are very, just, I don't want to say not coordinated, they're just very scattered. And there's a lot of things happening on multiple sides. Multiple members of GURL are getting caught by multiple ultimates from the side of Rex, and they're finding everything they want. And they're probably going to find themselves a Cloud Soul in 90 seconds. And if this Olaf wasn't terrifying before, the ult CDR means Ragnarok's always going to be off cooldown. The movement speed means Olaf presses R and a target dies. Speaking of that,
we'll
we
see
might see
because
on the
now's
list.
the time. Neko is going to be forced away. A bunch of damage now. Rafa isn't going to choose to go any further, but you see how much damage Olaf can put out in an extremely small amount of time. And yeah, as you were saying, as now Rafa is going to find and that's Nekar goodbye. Joshi has landed the stun, and that is a dead Ziggs, and that is a really bad timing. 40 seconds before this dragon spawns.
Yeah, we're really seeing Rex pick up every single thing they want. GURL isn't seemingly able to make the coordinated calls in order to put a stop to any of this. We thought it would be hard from draft, and we're just seeing that play out now as GURL struggles to find any real advantage.
As Pure Llama's now struggling to find himself an advantage, and that is going to be the stun taking away the Scuttle Clap. Mumu is going to be forced to run away. Zenzen has teleported on the side, but he is not going to find anything. Pure Llama's going to choose to go back in. 4-man ultimate, not enough. The Mumu is going to barely make it out as the moment he's going to die to the red buff as now the fight is on, and too many roots are coming. Black Venom forced to flash away. Autos are coming in. Who's going to be the first one to drop? It's going to be the Leona, and now everyone's falling with Necker being Nico rather, the only 2 alive.
Yeah, I don't understand why Pure Llama takes that fight and GURL chooses to engage on that. Your Lysandre's topside with teleport on cooldown, and your Ziggs is in base, not even in ulti range. I just don't understand what you think you can get there 3v5 when you're down 10,000 gold. And as we saw, it's not very much. Nekar is going to be caught out. Alk Battery
And
just
goodbye. Yeah, the crits come through, but honestly, I think I know the answer. Amumu saw that Kled was on the other team. He knows Kled's mottos: running away is the coward's way out. Can't run, always gotta fight. So he decided that he was gonna take it into his own hands. But even with the big ultimate, he almost made it out, but just wasn't enough. And that red buff picking him up was really detrimental because it gave Tristano those resets.
Yeah, and once that one reset came through, we saw Alk Battery find the other kills onto Bacon Pancakes and Black Venom. And it's really hard to see what GURL are going to be able to do into this terrifying Cloud Soul Olaf. Normally, we talk about Cloud Soul as the one that has the least impact in terms of just ending the game when you get it, but when it comes to the composition that Rex has crafted, it is critical.
a bunch of damage on the Pure Llama. Look at how much the Syndra's already pushing out. 2 items. Black Venom's going to be getting in trouble. This is Alkbatter getting a full combo onto him. Stun lands, and this is Leona, who should be the first one to drop. But no, that's going to be the trade kill. A bunch of damage onto Alkbatter. He is not going to make it out. Now the fight is on, and Pure Llama is here by himself. No damage follow-up available. So let's see if Amumu is going to be able to make it out, and that's going to be a no. This Olaf is just way too fast.
Yep, and it's good to pick up the shutdown. Nekar picked up a pretty big shutdown on Alkbatter's Tristana, which had been terrorizing him all game. But
he's also have his life picked up because he's not making it out. As the Ragnarok and Olaf is going to grab another
Look
kill.
how fast
Ross
he
is having
is.
a big game.
Look how fast he is with the Cloud Soul. It's ridiculous. There's nothing you can do. No amount of dashing, no amount of 200 years is going to save you from this devastating Champion Soul combo that Rex have themselves with. And it's only going to be a matter of time until they grab this Baron buff and use it to finish the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be. It must be nice to be out. Why Doctor into this game 1-1-20. Just hitting that heal key, that's all you got to do. As now this is a little bit sketchy. The ultimate is going to be available. Teleports are going to be here. Rafa is going to secure the Baron though, so nothing else further. And now this is really hard to fight because they could probably just dive you under your inhibitor towers.
Almost certainly with the ability for this team to pick up and drop turret aggro, the tankiness that the Kled has built and the tankiness that the Olaf has built with the Gore Drinker and the Sterix Gauge. It's the shield bow for the Tristana. It's going to be so hard to kill any of these members. You have to invest so many resources just to get one that it's going to be impossible to win the fight afterward.
Absolutely, and I think the only saving grace for the side of Team GURL at the moment is that they do have splashes onto their carries at the moment. Both Neko and Nektar, and Neko and Nekar, Neko and Nekar both have their flashes available. So some playmaking opportunities there, but the same is true on the other side, and there's just not enough safety for these two that are going to have a bunch of trouble putting on damage. As now Neko has chosen to go in. This is Zenzen going for the all-in. Neko forced to ult herself. Now this is the Khaled behind the towers, still looking for the fight as he's going to be walking out. Doesn't want anything further, but the first tower has dropped, and it looks like they're going to continue to push for more from the side of Rex.
Yeah, I definitely thought that Neko was going to go down there, but plays it really well, and Zenzen's the one that has to retreat. Not able to catch Zenzen out of position, and going to pick up that top inner turret. It's going to be a lot of gold going over to Zenzen as the siege continues.
Absolutely. Pure Llama playing really aggressively, like he's looking for some form of engage. That's going to be Neko going in, taking in stun, but getting a bunch of trade damage from that Kled in the backside. As now these stuns from Syndra are consistently landing. Pure Llama is still looking for his angle, but with the Ziggs ultimate use and basically a bunch of resources gone, there's almost no way you can take this fight, but they're going to look for it anyway. Pure Llama's going to get the stun onto the backline, going to be the first one to drop. Syndra is going to find it, and now everyone is dropping to Rafa as he's just way too strong, as the triple kill is instantly picked up for the side of this Olaf, and that is going to easily be the game.
Yeah, for sure. If you're looking for a last-minute fight, you have to pick the spot where the Olaf isn't, because he cannot die. And instead, they engage directly onto the Olaf. Ragnarok gets used, and that should be the game. Coming out from Rex, Neko's going to try some heroics.
Yep, flash in, not able to get the wave. Got the hourglass and the R available, wasting a lot of time. I'm gonna allow the rebounds to be a little bit closer, but still not close enough. As 29 minutes on the clock, Rex Regalis is gonna take the win over Team GURL.
Yep, we knew looking at the records this was going to be a tough game. When we saw the draft, we knew it was going to be a tougher game, and that's exactly how it turned out. Rex, from beginning to end, looked fairly clean, not really at risk. They picked themselves what initially is a meme composition with the first picking the Yuumi, but ultimately rounds out into something very nice and heavily counters the style that GURL was playing for. Even though Nekar Ziggs did a lot of damage, it wasn't enough to secure any kills. There wasn't enough follow-through from the low damage comp that GURL built for themselves, and they weren't able to burst down key targets.
Yep, credit is given where credit is due. Rex Regalis continuing on their winning ways. And with that, that is the conclusion of this game, but there is more to come, as there's going to be an interview with the victorious Rex in just a moment.
Hello everyone, Chris Edgeworth here for another interview, and I'm joined this time by Joshi from Rex Regalis. How are you feeling after the win?
Feeling pretty good. Went about as we expected it to, and that's really just Rex living up to the expectations that we've set for ourselves.
Let's talk about the plan you drew up for yourself then. So this draft that you folks pulled out here, the bands that you had planned out for GURL here, can you give us some insight on what you folks wanted to bring into this game and what you ended up being up against?
Yeah, so honestly, we did probably the least prep for this game of everything. Unfortunately, GURL hasn't yet shown that we need to really have a whole lot prepared for them. So I told the guys, hey, we have our real game against Terracotta coming up later today. We're going to use this as a bit of a warm-up and a way for everybody to feel good. And so whatever champion it is that you want to play, let me know what it is. We'll pick it, and we should be good as long as you pick a semi-real composition.
So you're just playing a stage scrim, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Brian Sang from Yubi in the Luna League has been crying for Yumi games for, the Yubi team, and Doc was like, I really want to play Yumi before Brian has a chance to, and so we got to do that this time. There was a couple spicy things we could have tried to do. There's a certain dragon champion that we were looking to play. Unfortunately, it just didn't come to fruition because, to GURL's credit, their composition mostly made sense, and it really shut down a lot of the things that we would have normally had looked to do. But our bot lane is just really good, and it didn't matter.
Let's talk about how the game played out then. So you picked into a kind of rough matchup. Nico did put a little bit of pressure on you in the early game, although, obviously it worked out in the end. Give me some insight on how you felt about how the game played out and how you're able to pull out the win in this game.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I did basically nothing this entire game. It feels like almost all of our pressure was being pulled out by Rafa and Doc and Alk Battery. And even though Alk Battery got a little big for his britches at a couple of points, it was still a situation where he was willing to trade his life in order for us to get like 3 or 4 kills off the back of it. And once you have an Olaf that's ahead with a Yumi on it, with a composition that they have that has so much crowd control but kind of low damage, Olaf doesn't really have anything that is going to be countering him. You're not going to be blowing him up. They're not going to be really kiting him out all that well because of the number of melee champions they had. And I mean, we got to see why Mark is one of the best carry junglers in the entire league is because he can take over champions like games like this. And this is a champion he hasn't really played in a long time, but something that we know he used to be really good at.
Now, do you have any insight, why Doctor was really awesome on this Yumi? Obviously, it's amazing that we were able to deny Brian Sang first blood on picking the champion. Do you have any insight on what why Doctor is playing on his other monitor? I've been playing a lot of Genshin Impact lately, a little bit of Pokemon Showdown. So, do you know what he's doing on the other monitor while he's playing this champion?
I'm gonna be honest, it's probably New World. He's been talking about that game non-stop, and I feel like this is something that he and Brian have a lot in common, is they actually don't play that much League of Legends. They mostly just want to play their MMOs. Brian plays Final Fantasy, Doc plays New World, and the rest are just like, please come practice with us.
Awesome. Well, let's look forward to your matchup later tonight. Can you give us some insight onto your thoughts on this matchup against Terracotta later this evening?
Yeah, okay, so this is going to be a pretty fun matchup, I think. Obviously, they're number 1. We had an uncharacteristic loss to INT recently, and again, congratulations to them. They did have a very good game. They threw us a couple of curveballs. But we've also seen Terracotta, they have lost their early games really hard twice now against some of the other top teams, and I expect we're probably going to get a similar lead, and we're also way better at maintaining those leads than some of the other teams that are actually in the league. So I think this should be a situation where if Terracotta can somehow drag us out to 40 minutes, they might be able to find a win. But other than that, Rex Regala should be able to take control early and never let go.
All right, Joshi, thanks so much for this interview. Before we step away, any final thoughts, any shout-outs, any banter you hadn't had an opportunity to get in yet?
Well, a bunch of people have been coming up with like almost a new catchphrase. Like, if you guys ever want to be featured in a video, you guys know what to say. So just have fun with that.
All right, we'll leave it there. Joshi, thank you so much. We'll look forward to your matchup later tonight against Terracotta Gaming. But coming up next, folks, we do have In the Trees against SEAL Team Chris, so don't go anywhere.